everyone, my name's Ebony and welcome back to another video.
Think I know you better to forget her. Certain people made for running. Think I need you more than let you know I'm bored and tell me this means more than nothing.
So today I'm going to be talking about all the books I'm hoping to read this summer. There are definitely way too many books on this list, and I'm definitely not going to be able to get through all of them. And so to start off this TBR, I'm going to start with my Studio Ghibli Readathon TBR. So, also just like ignore my hair, it's so frizzy because I was laying on it and it's just like a nightmare. I am participating in the Studio Ghibli Readathon. I will link the Twitter for that down below. If you missed my June plan with me, I did a bullet journal spread of my TBR for this readathon. So we're starting with the books that are on that TBR. So this is my TBR page. I'm coloring them in as I complete the prompts. As you can see, I've only completed one actual reading prompt, and that was The Lost Apothecary. I did read that very recently, but the other books on this TBR are The Girls at 17 Swann Street by Yara Zagib. I don't know how to say the author's name. This would fill the prompt for books with family illness or illness representation. This is a book about eating disorders that I bought over a year ago now. All I really know is that the characters are dancers and it has eating disorder representation. And I'm also going to be reading this book and a couple of other books that I'll be talking about for a vlog in my Purging My Physical TBR series that I have posted 2 videos for already, which you can check out up above. This is one of the books I'll be reading for the next vlog in that series, which is also why I chose it for this TBR, because I knew I wanted to read it anyway. Technically, I have already started this. I've only read like 5 pages, so does it count? Not really. I'm super excited to read this. Also, it is like written sort of not in verse, but like in like weird short paragraphs. And I'm here for that because that makes it a quick read. A lot of these books are rolled over from my spring TBR because I didn't get to them. But it's fine. It's okay. We're all human. The next book on my TBR is The Duff by Cody Keplinger. This is going to be in the vlog I talked about of Purging My TBR. Also, it fills the prompt for At Long Last TBR for the Studio Ghibli Readathon. This one I've been wanting to read for a very long time, ever since I found out that there was eating disorder representation in it. I think it's minor, but it's there. And also because I've not seen the movie, but I've seen like previews and I've heard of the movie. And so I think it would be something that's right up my alley, something very interesting to me. So like I've always sort of had it on my radar, and I've had it for quite a long time now. I just haven't gotten the chance to read it. So hopefully I will get to it soon with the motivation of the TBR. Basically what I know about this book is that the main character is the Duff of her group, which is the designated ugly fat friend. And I don't think she knows that, and then she finds out. Obviously that's something hard to deal with and come to terms with. I don't really know much else. I don't want to know much else. I don't usually like knowing synopses beforehand. And the last book that I have for that vlog is Never Enough by Denise Jayden. This is also a eating disorder representation book. I specifically bought this book because I heard it was eating disorder representation. All I really know is that it follows 2 sisters, and one of the sisters really wants to be like her other sister, but that comes with a price. That's all I know. This book fills the prompt for focus on mental health. So obviously there's a theme here of eating disorder representation and mental health representation. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome, but I have a weird fascination with eating disorders. My favorite book is Winter Girls by Laurie Halse Anderson, which is all about eating disorders, like the main character and everything. I don't know why, I just find eating disorders very interesting. Obviously no offense to anybody who has struggled with an eating disorder. I think that there's something interesting about them, how they present themselves and that kind of thing. So I like to read books that have that kind of representation. So got all my bases covered there. Now continuing with my Studio Ghibli readathon, because I kind of chose those 3 books to go first. 1, because they're for the vlog, but 2, because they're also part of my Studio Ghibli readathon TBR. This video is just all over the place. But the next book for that TBR is Howl's Moving Castle. I don't know the author. but this fills the prompt for a book featuring a mystical world. It also is the group book for the Studio Ghibli Readathon, so I threw that into my TBR. I'm very excited to read this. Howl's Moving Castle is my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. However, I've heard the movie and the book are very, very different, so I'm excited, also a little bit nervous just to see how they differ and if I will still like it, even though it is not like the movie. But nevertheless, I'm excited to read it. I'm hoping to get it on audiobook. I don't know yet. We'll see, because I have a lot of physical books on this TBR, and we all know I don't read that many physical books, and I always read a bunch of audiobooks. Next is A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. This is the last book in the An Ember in the Ashes series. I have read the first 3 books. I have 1 more book left to go, and this will fill the prompt for a book with sibling relationship, because Laia and her brother are a pretty much what gets the ball rolling in this series. I mean, Laia's brother gets taken and is what spurs Laia into action. I thought that it was a good fit for this prompt. Also, I will be reading this one on audiobook, so there's another audiobook in there. I have the audiobook on hold right now, so I'm just waiting for it to get to me. This is the series finale. I have had mixed feelings about this series so far. I really enjoyed the first book, but haven't really so much enjoyed books 2 and 3, so kind of nervous to go into this last book, but also I'm already this far, I might as well finish the series kind of vibe there. Next I have One Great Lie by Deb Coletti. This is actually an ARC, an advanced reader copy that I got from the bookstore that I work at, and the book has already come out, and I am terrible about reading ARCs before the book actually comes out. And so I put it on this TBR hoping that I would get to it before the book came out, but that's past. It's already out. I still want to read it hopefully in June, because that would be semi near the time that it came out, and it would be helpful information. But this is a YA book that I actually got before I started working at the bookstore, because they have a shelf of ARCs that you can just take, and they just ask for an honest review in return, which of course is why I wanted to read it before it came out. Too late now. All I know about this one is it follows a character who has a scholarship, and she goes to Venice and meets the author, a poet, I believe, some sort of author. I do love the cover, very beautiful. Also, I've heard good things about Deb Coletti's writing. This will be my first book by her, and this book fills the prompt for a book with romance. In the synopsis it says, a summer filled of romance and mystery. So I'm assuming it's going to fill that prompt, which is lovely. The last book for my Studio Ghibli Readathon TBR, it fills the prompt for book you loved in childhood, and I actually have 2 options for this because I don't know which one I will feel like reading more. But those options are Awake by Lisa McMahon and Waiting by Carol Lynch Williams. These are both books I read in middle school and really enjoyed. Actually, maybe I read this one in high school, I can't remember. And they're both very quick reads for me. This one's only like 210 pages. The writing style is super easy, and there's lots of like page breaks where there's like timestamps of like when things are happening. This book I've read, I think I'm at 10 times now. So I've read it quite a few times. It's definitely one of my favorite books of all time. And this book follows a character named Janie who has a gift/curse of falling into people's dreams if they're dreaming near her. And she can't really control this. She doesn't know why this happens. It's just always been that way as long as she can remember. And so it really just follows Janie and sort of a slice of life story. There's a little bit of romance, a little bit of mystery, and then the second book gets really more into the mystery side of it, which I actually really enjoy as well. I read this book when I was in middle school. I grabbed it from the library, and I grabbed it on Friday, and I had it over the weekend, and I read it on Friday. Like, I read the entire thing in one day, and I didn't have anything else I wanted to read, so I just read it 2 more times. So I read it 3 times in one weekend. Very good, and it's very nostalgic for me as well. So I don't know if I'll read this one or if I'll read this one. Waiting is also very quick because it's written in verse. This is actually written in verse. Like, look at how short these pages are. Also, I love the size of this hardback. It's so tiny and cute. This one I've read, I think I've only read it twice. So I haven't read it as much as I've read Wake, which makes me like lean more towards this, but I don't know yet. Basically, this follows a character. character named London, whose brother Zach has recently died, and so she's dealing with that grief and that trauma, and it's very, very sad and very heartbreaking. And I definitely cry every single time I read it. So like if I want a book that makes me cry, I will reach for this. But if I don't, then I'll grab this one. I'm not sure yet which one I will want, but one of these will be read this month. Now the rest of this TBR is not Studio Ghibli Readathon related, but it is just like a hodgepodge of the books I need to read, slash I want to read, slash I'm hoping to read. I don't know yet. We will see. The first is probably the most important one that I need to get to that's not on the Studio Ghibli Readathon TBR, and that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is a reread for me, and as you can see, I am annotating it. If you've been watching my vlogs lately or anything like that, I have been talking quite a bit about Ninth House because I've been annotating it the past couple of weeks. Basically, my friend Lexi and I both have birthdays in May, so for our birthday presents, we give each other annotated copies of books we really enjoyed. So this is the third year we are going to be doing this, and so the first year she gave me a copy of Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson, and last year she gave me a copy of Where the Forest Meets the Stars by Glendy Vanderraa. Both very good books, and it was very much enhanced by the fact that they were annotated. I have given her a copy of Winter Girls, which of course is my favorite book, and then last year I did a copy of Turtles All the Way Down. This year she's going to give me Caraval by Stephanie Garber, which is actually my book that she borrowed and read and really liked, and I haven't read it, and I was like, you can just annotate the copy that you borrowed and give it back to me. So like she didn't actually have to buy a copy, which is fun. But I am reading Ninth House for her and annotating it. And I don't know what I was thinking taking this on. I mean, she said she would be interested in this, so that was like kind of what influenced my decision. But I don't know what I was doing, because it took me like 5 months to read this the first time, even though I really loved it. It's just not a book that you want to like binge in one seating. Like you kind of need time to like understand the book and really just like process what's happening. Because it's very dark and can definitely take a toll if you're not in like the right mindset for it. So like I totally understand people who don't want to read this book because they're not in the right mindset. Like totally get that. I'm only 103 pages and have not made much progress in the last couple of weeks. I kind of put it down because I read Malibu Rising like immediately after it came out. But I just haven't really gotten back to picking it back up yet, and I need to so I can give it to Lexi. It's not like a super big hurry because she's about the same amount of pages into her book, so we're both going slow, but I don't know. I would just like to get it done and to her so she can read it. I do really enjoy this book. I'm very excited for the sequel to come out whenever it comes out. Leigh Bardugo, I need that book, but it's just one of those books that just takes me a while to read. So, hopefully I will finish that very soon. Next is another book that I'm also technically currently reading, and that's Last Sacrifice by Rochelle Mead. If you have been around for a while, I was hosting a Vampire Academy and Bloodlines read-along with some friends of mine. Unfortunately, we are not able to do that anymore, and we never finished the last book in the series, which is Last Sacrifice. And I did start it. I'm reading it with my boyfriend. We're on page 31. We're not that far. One of the reasons why we're taking so long is, one, because we're reading it together, so we have to both be together and both be in the mood to read it. And two, because I kind of put this on pause when I started reading Ninth House, and all the other books that I have on this TBR I feel like have more of a priority than this one, because now this one doesn't have a time constraint, and also I have read this before, so it's a reread, so I have less priority to it than some of the other books that I haven't read before. So, but hopefully we will get around to finishing this series soon. On top of that, I'm hoping to also start Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. So this is the first book in the Bloodlines series, which I have not read. I've not read Bloodlines. I've only read Vampire Academy. So this is very exciting. I'm really excited to start this. It's just now I don't have a timeline, whereas when we were doing the read-along, I did have a timeline. Like I knew I was going to be getting to these books soon. Will and I haven't decided yet if we're going to be reading these together or if I'll just read them myself. If I read it myself, I can do it a lot quicker than if I have to read it with Will, but either way, I'm okay with that. So once we finish reading Last Sacrifice, I will move on to this. Continuing with the Vampire Academy theme, I've talked about this before in a different video, and definitely if you're interested, please let me know, because some people said they were, but I didn't, not many people, so like just let me know down below so I can like get an idea that people are actually really interested in this. So I have a couple of books here that are Vampire Academy themed. They are like side books, side stories of the Vampire Academy world that I found out very recently from Twitter and from the read along, and I immediately went and bought some of them, not all of them. I restrained myself a little bit, but I am very excited to read these because, like I said, I love Vampire Academy, and I will also be reading them for a vlog, which is why I need to know if you guys are interested in that. I guess I'm probably going to put it in the Purging My TBR vlog series. It kind of is just helpful for the people who were part of the read-along that is no longer happening. They can still kind of get that Vampire Academy content that they wanted. I'm still toying with the idea of vlogging my read of Bloodlines too. I don't know if I want to do like each book its own vlog, or maybe just do one vlog of the entire series. That'll probably be really long, so I don't know yet. Nevertheless, I will be doing a vlog for these books that I have here. So first is the Vampire Academy official illustrated movie companion. I know not many people are a fan of this movie, not many people have seen the movie, but I have. I actually watched the movie before I read the books. Blasphemy, I know, but I am a fan of the movie. It's actually what got me into Vampire Academy. So I have started this. I am like 18 pages in. It's just like a movie companion thing, not super duper long, lots of pictures, so it's definitely just one that I just need to like sit down one afternoon and just hammer it out. Along with that, I have the Vampire Academy graphic novel. I am so excited about this. There are graphic novels for the first 3 books, I believe. I think that they are not doing them anymore, but I will be reading that, at least this one. If I enjoy this one, I will definitely grab the second and third graphic novels. But I didn't want to buy, whoa, the pages just like fell out. Okay, it's not what I was expecting. That was a yikes. Anyways, as I was saying before my book got obliterated, basically it's a graphic novel version of the books. I'm super excited about. Graphic novels are really easy, and I'm excited to see a sort of visualization that's a little bit different than the movie of this series. Honestly, I'll probably still read book 2 even if I don't care about it, just because I want to see what Adrian looks like. I need to know these things. Adrian is my favorite character, and he was not casted for the movie because he's only in book 2 and on. And I'm like, I need to know what Adrian looks like. Also, I heard talks of there being a Vampire Academy show, and I'm very, very excited about it. 1, so they can finally cast Adrian. They better get to book 2. And 2, it's just going to be amazing. I'm very excited. Also, I'm a little nervous because they're not going to cast Zoe Dutch as Rose, and I think Zoe Dutch does a great job as Rose. All the other characters can be recasted. I don't really care. Zoe Dutch is who I'm here for, and I know they're probably not going to cast her because she's a little old now. So, nervous but excited for that. Anyway, that's off topic. Basically, I have a lot of Vampire Academy books that I want to read. The other one I have is Vampire Academy The Ultimate Guide, which, like, what's the difference between, like, these are both guides. I don't know. This one, honestly, at this point, it just looks like it just tells you, like, lore and stuff about all the characters and the plot lines of the books. I'm really not sure. There are some pictures in it from the movie. And lastly, I have Foretold, and this is a book that's a collection of short stories by several different authors, but one of them is a Vampire Academy short story, so I will read that for that vlog as well. There are other authors in here that I'm excited about. Lisa McMahon, for one, where there's so many books around me I can't find the book I'm looking for. Lisa McMahon's the author of Wake, so I'm definitely going to be reading her short story. But also, Laini Taylor has a short story in here too. So I think I'm also interested in like other short stories, not just the Vampire Academy one, but I will vlog me reading the Vampire Academy one. Okay, that was a lot of talking. My mouth is already dry and this video is already very, very long. But the next book I have on this TBR is The Light Through the Leaves by Glendy Vanderrod. This is the author of Where the Forest Meets the Stars' second book. I'm so excited about this. Mostly just because Where the Forest Meets the Stars was one of my favorite books that I've read this year, and literally so amazing. So I just am really excited to see what else this author is going to do. I did have to special order this from the bookstore because we didn't have any on hand, although we do have one on hand now. And if I read it and like it, I can put that book on my staff picks shelf, and that's like all I'm trying to do now, is just put books on my staff picks shelf. So I'm very excited about this one. I don't know anything about it, and I don't want to know anything about it. I'm just pretty sure it's a contemporary. I'm fairly certain it's different than Where the Forest Meets the Stars, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so the last, I have a giant stack here. And I will, like I said, I will definitely not get to all of these books. I'll probably only get to not even a third of these books. But these are all the books that I've been gravitating towards recently, and books that I have been wanting to read / needing to read. So these are all adult books / books I got from the bookstore, and that will help me with my job. Also, I mean, I am interested in them, of course. They're all on my TBR. First is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, and this one is my most prioritized of this list because it's the sequel to Vicious, and I loved Vicious. That one is definitely my favorite book of the year. So I'm excited to get to this one. I'm hoping to buddy read it with Katie from Katie Can't Read. We had mentioned that once or twice. So it might depend on if she's available and if she still wants to do that when I'm going to read it. But I am super duper excited for this book. If you don't know, Vicious follows two characters, Eli and Victor, and they both go to college and they're working on their thesis, which is going to be over EOs, or extraordinary people, and they discover how you can become one, and so they both become one. And it's told in dual timelines. So one timeline is while they're in college and learning all this stuff. The other timeline is 10 years later, after Victor has gotten out of jail and he is dead set on killing Eli, and you're like, what, why? I'm really excited to read this one, but is it gonna happen soon? Probably not. Next, I have Last Chance Books. This is an ARC. I do believe this book, yeah, it's out. I just saw an ARC at the store and I grabbed it. This was on my most anticipated books of the year list that I did a video over. Honestly, I don't remember anything about it. It says that the character works in an independent bookstore after college, and it's a romance. And I work at a bookstore. I'm in college. I like romance. I don't know, it just sounds perfect for me, a very bookish read. And so I think it will be a fun one to get to. Next, I have Hummingbird Salamander by Jeff Vandermeer. This is also an ARC, and it has definitely come out. I grabbed it after it came out. Basically, Jeff Vandermeer is the author of Annihilation, which is a book that I read last summer and was very good. I have not finished the series, which is a problem. But this is his newest book, and I'm really excited to read it because I did enjoy Annihilation. I love the movie for Annihilation. And it's just a book that we have at the store right now, and it would be helpful if I read it as well. So like, it double dips there where I'm excited about it and it helps me with my job. Next is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This I got from the store because it's a damaged copy. I think right there is the damage. I don't know anything about this book. I think it's a sister something story, but I know that a lot of people have read it. A lot of people love it. My friend Stephanie from Stephanie Bookish has read it, and that's most notably where I remember hearing about it. Next are two books that we've had at the store that I just grabbed because we had damaged copies, and I thought that sounded kind of interesting. Not super prioritized, but definitely ones that I'm interested in. So first I have No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. I think I grabbed this because it sounded like interesting, like alien interesting, although I don't think it's aliens. The synopsis talks about, it's about a woman who has viral social media whatever and fans, and she's overwhelmed by navigating the new language and etiquette of what she terms the portal, which is a vast chorus of voices now dictating her thoughts, existential threats of climate change, and an unnamed dictator, and an epidemic of loneliness. I don't know, it just sounds like it might be a sci-fi, although I do not believe it is a sci-fi, but it sounds really intriguing to me. Also, it is written in kind of an easier format, and it's small. I don't know, I just shelved a copy of it at the store, and I just like thought it sounded really interesting, and we had a damaged copy, and so I grabbed it. Will I get to it soon? I don't know, but it definitely sounds intriguing. Next is When the Stars Go Dark. So a funny story. There were damaged copies of this. I grabbed it thinking it was The First Day of Spring by, I don't know the author, but here's a picture. I grabbed it because my coworker said that she really liked The First Day of Spring and that it was dark and gruesome and like a serial killer, and I was like, yes, that's exactly what I want. I like dark stuff. And so I grabbed this thinking it was that book, but they're not the same book. And so I just like didn't return it to the store. I'll probably still read this just because, you know, trying to do my job better. But I don't know what this is about because I thought it was that other book. So I just now have a copy of it. The last book I have is Good Morning, Good Night, Little Pep Talks from Me to You by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Johnny Sun. This was a damaged copy. I grabbed it because Johnny Sun is the author of Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too. This is a graphic novel that I adore, and his name is on the cover of this, so I immediately thought of it. It is illustrated, and it's just like cute little like things. Like, I'm assuming pep talks, like how it says on the title, but I don't know. And they're super short and super sweet and adorable and tiny little illustrations, and I don't know, I just think it will be a fun one to read when I want something light and happy and easy to get through. Okay, that's all the books for this TBR. This video is hours long, and like I said, I will definitely not be getting to all of them. And now I'm going to work on stacking them for the thumbnail, but thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you're subscribed down below so you don't miss any future videos from me and finding out that I'm not reading any of the books that I talked about because I'm a mood reader. And make sure you follow me on social media. Also, something I want to throw in here. So I was recently locked out of my Bookstagram and I cannot get back in. I talked about it in a vlog recently. You can go check that out. But it would really help me out, and I would really appreciate it if you go follow the link down below, my Instagram link. It's basically like my exact same username as it was before. There's just an underscore at the end. They do look very similar, so make sure you're following the one with the underscore or just click the link down below. Like I said, I'm very frustrated with being locked out of my account, but I don't think that there's anything I can do about it. I've gone on and on trying so hard to get back into it, and I just don't think it is gonna happen. I'm very upset about it, but yeah, if you want to make me feel better, go follow my Bookstagram. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.